All right, you surprised me this morning.
In what way?
You were like, okay, here's some things happening in the news. But like cultural entertainment news
Uh-huh.
more than like socio-political chaos.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved that you
You know me. I'm always reading People magazine and
literally said a sentence to me like, Kate Hudson was found saying da 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 da, and I'm like, do you even have a clue who Kate Hudson is?
oh yeah, she's an actress
Okay.
or an actor.
Yeah, you just said it so nonchalant, like we ever talk about celebrities, like ever.
That's funny.
But
She did say something cool though.
Okay, that like tipped off a nice topic.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't Kate Hudson as much as she was talking about parenting.
And she got to talk about parenting because she has a platform.
Yeah. And she said kind of the same thing we talked about yesterday, is that sometimes apologizing to your kids is the best thing you can do. And I think growing up, I don't know that my parents ever apologized for anything.
Right.
They were the parents. They made the rules.
That's the way it is.
Never made a mistake, which is fine. But, I mean, now, being able to have those conversations, for me, it's about making amends if there was truly, something to apologize for. Partly to demonstrate, like, this is what you do when you F up. You come back and you say, hey, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was upset about this thing. It wasn't you at all. You didn't deserve to be yelled at because I was upset about some other thing.
Work or tensions there.
Yeah. But then Kate Hudson said, actually, I'm going to pull it up.
Your favorite guru, Kate Hudson.
Parenting guru, Kate Hudson. She did have 50 first dates, so.
So she should know a thing or two about life and philosophies.
Yeah. But she was talking about becoming combative. And she said, it happens all the time as a parent. But when you walk away from it, you can recognize where you might have created more of a problem than you did a lesson. The importance of being able to tell your kids that you can do better. I could have handled that situation better actually models much more than being stubborn and saying, no, I can't admit I was wrong. So, yeah.
I do like that part about like saying I could have handled the situation better.
Yeah.
I think that is true in our partnerships, in our parenthood, in our friendships. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing, I don't know, embarrassing. I mean, it feels a little embarrassing to me, like at that gut visceral level of like, apologizing is such an acknowledgement of I did wrong, but it's really mature and great to be able to recognize your imperfections.
Yeah. And we know people that can never admit when they're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's hard to have relationships with those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the idea of like, you're raising the ceiling for your kids if what they see is you and how you demonstrate things.
Yeah.
And you say, I can do better. I'm going to work to do better at that. I'm going to work to have more patience when there are really loud noises and everything feels out of control.
Yeah.
You're giving them kind of like that growth mindset versus a fixed mindset.
I don't know how the dog got in here, but I'm going to take it back out. Come on, Reese.
Hey guys, I haven't even had a chance to say hello, everyone. It's good to see you in here. We are Mike and Chels and Mike, and we are behind postpartum together. So we're doing our morning chats, and the dog snuck in, which is just very distracting for us. So we were taking a minute with that. But our topic today, we're talking about apologizing, specifically thinking about apologizing to your kids. But then also, how does that play into the importance of apologizing to your partner and just overall acknowledging when we mess up, when we have a problem, when we do something wrong. So I'm not nearly as fun right now without Mike here, who is apparently taking care of the kids and the dog right now. Cool. Hello. Oh, we have like more than one George at the same time.
It's almost time to start school.
Oh, good morning, wherever you are. I'm so boring without you.
That's so funny. That's not true. Not true.
Oh, where were we?
I'm not sure because I was just talking about a hamster for a while.
Apologizing, raising the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Showing, I think I was just recognizing how when we're so staunch in our ways, we aren't really modeling a growth mindset, but a fixed mindset. And we're kind of giving our kids that level of love as the ceiling for themselves too.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about this in friendships recently. Like, what does it mean to raise the bar, to raise the ceiling of what friendship can mean, and the care and depth and vulnerability? I went on a trip with a friend, and I felt so joyful that I could be as weird as I was with her because I just have a lot of levels of weird.
Yeah.
But to be like, oh my gosh, I got to be weirder than ever. And this person's still liking me. They're like still choosing me. How cool is that?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So I love that idea of like raising the ceiling for everyone.
Yeah, that's good. And I was thinking about this quote. I don't know, probably came from the church, but I think it's still decent.
Okay.
But it was something like a happy marriage is between two forgivers.
Oh.
And I think like really you're gonna be a pain in the ass to the other person. You're gonna step on their toes. You're gonna say stuff you shouldn't say. Like there's the apologizing side, and then there's also the okay, I'm not gonna let this harbor. I'm gonna let this go. Right? Like if it's not a persistent situation.
Right. Or a super harmful situation. Right,
yeah. And so I think
have you had to let anything go?
Never. I'm waiting for the day.
I want to know what have you had to let go of, like just not being as annoyed with?
I don't know off the top of my head, but see, I forgive and forget.
Oh, I think that's called midlife.
That's probably true. That could be it.
I have started. You're going to be so proud of me.
I can't wait.
I have started to take a deep breath when I see your socks.
Oh, that's nice.
No matter where they are, what they're doing, how crunchy they look like they might be, I'm like, you know what? This works for Mike. And is it a insufferable... I just saw someone use that word, and I don't know if they were talking about us or whatever we were talking about, but watch our morning show. It's insufferable. I've just chosen.
Yeah.
I've chosen.
Okay.
Better. I'm choosing better.
I appreciate that.
When it comes to your socks.
Where are my socks that they're
everywhere
out and about? Not really.
You leave them, leave a pair of socks inside of your pairs of shoes, which I just find to be so odd. And then one falls out and then one gets behind the shoe bin. And so there's like one covered in dust bunnies under the shoe bin that I get when I'm sweeping under there. And then one that's like in the hats and gloves section of, and by the bed and the closet, like so damn close to a drawer, but yet so far.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Well, I won't explain myself.
Okay. You don't have to.
I'm not going to. I just appreciate that you've
had I have grace. Annoying habits too, right? Like, please tell the people. I have annoying habits.
It's true. Too. Yes, this is 100% true. I just literally cannot think of any right now.
Oh my goodness.
Because I just don't harbor those kinds of things.
What is the power of apologizing in the relationship?
Yeah. Go ahead.
In relation to the kids still, I want to insert this quick story that it was last week. I got to have just like really good open heart to heart with our kids. And I love when those moments happen, usually unexpectedly. But one thing that our son said to me was he said something along the lines, I don't remember it perfectly, but along the lines of like, I'm so glad I get to see how you and dad talk when you argue because it helps me know what to do with my sister and with my friends. And I was very thankful that that was a positive takeaway for him. I think too, because we're perfect, but when we are too mean or too loud or, we say hurtful things to each other, we, I think, have gotten really good at acknowledging it to each other and to the kids if they bear witness to that of like, hey, that was unfair to dad. Like mom had a really mean tone and she was making dad feel bad, like with the way she was talking, and she shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Kids, it's so amazing because I think like our parents' generation parented by like trying to prop up an ideal.
Tell me more about that.
Um, I don't know how maybe like you go back a little further, but it's, if you go back real far, you've got like the ideal mother, the ideal wife. I think that there was this like ambition to be ideal, and then to your kids, you like never share,
Yeah. Yeah.
any bad stuff. You just always want to come across as
you've got your shit together.
Yeah, which goes hand in hand with like not apologizing if you like doubling down instead of apologizing.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, I think, to be playing with is having your shit together enough to be a safe, trusted place for your kids to like not feel like they have to be the adults.
Yeah.
And not falsifying things.
Right.
To the point that your kids think that adulthood and parenthood are going to be one way and then they're shocked when it's not, or there's a distance because maybe not as much authenticity. I maybe got a little side railed there.
Maybe I did too.
Okay.
But it is, in my own experience, and I think the data shows, it is far more beneficial to be more human, to be more realistic, and to apologize when you make a mistake and, lead by example rather than by some rule book or something.
Yeah.
And when kids, like you can tell your kids with your mouth, like verbally give them instruction, but ultimately they're going to follow your example more than your instruction. So might as well just put those two in sync and be real about shortcomings and ambitions and goals to get better, or whatever it is. I think that's example parenting. It's where it's at.
Cool. Thanks for looking up that snippet, that quote to get us started from your girl Kate.
It was nothing. I'm always into celebrity lives.
You're the furthest from that I know.
I know. No shame for people that are into that.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Kate Hudson the one that married the Prince of England?
No.
I'm just kidding. But I don't know who that person was.
Meghan?
Yeah. Meghan Markle. It's pretty close. I was close.
All right, we gotta go.
We gotta get out of here. Have a great day.
Okay, you gotta get 120 minutes.
To unlock more
next features. I think you can start putting links on your lives and stuff once you get to that next level.
Okay. That's cool. The girls are bored. So